One of the things that draws a lot of attention to a roller coaster is its color scheme. Whether it be a red coaster to pop out against the greenery of the park, or a specific color to match the theme of the ride, like green for the Hulk. Colors are undoubtedly one of the most important aspects of a coaster. So today, we're going to be counting down the best coaster for each color.
We're going to start off this list with the rainbow colors, so that means we're starting off with the color red, which we have given to Project 305 at King's Dominion. Now this was a tough choice between this and Maverick, but we have given it to Project 305 for its intensity and speed. And although we could have had an RMC like Steve, aka Steel Vengeance, or Zadra, we realized almost all of these categories could be an RMC, which would lead to a very boring video. Anyways, Project 305 is a giga coaster located in Richmond, Virginia at King's Dominion. With a height of 305 feet, hence its name, this coaster focuses on its speed at 90 miles per hour and intense forces pulling a sustained 5 Gs that makes people gray out, if not black out. And while the GP tends to dislike this coaster for its constant speed and intensity, it is a magnet for coaster enthusiasts and got this park a certified spot in most people's top 10s.
Next up, we have Orange. And out of all the Orange coasters, we have given the award of Best to Railblazer at California's Great America. Now this will be the only RMC on this list, but for good reason. With this being a prototype for the RMC Raptors, RMC really went all out to create this beast of a coaster. The airtime on this thing looks so aggressive, it makes my thighs hurt just by looking at it. And while it is short, it has a complete layout that uses every foot of its track to its advantage. The color of this is also incredible, and it is truly a spectacle to look at. It's a darn shame that California's Great America is getting the boot, so hopefully this coaster gets relocated to somewhere good for such a good coaster.
Next up is the color yellow, the color of joy, and in this case, the color of Sky Rush. Now, this is yet another coaster that has already built up a reputation of being a classic airtime machine with terrible restraints, which have been fixed, and just being an all-around great ride. So you probably already know a whole lot about this coaster, but if you don't, then Sky Rush is one of the only wing coasters ever built by Intamin, but although there are only 3 of them, all of them hit hard. Sky Rush's airtime is known to feel like a car crash, and if that's so, then all the hype is true, and this has to be one of the greatest coasters of all time.
Up next, we have the color green, which we have given to Conda. And let's just say, when Intamin makes a mega coaster, they do not disappoint. For a while, people even debated whether or not this was the greatest coaster of all time, and that's just for starters. It also has some of the strongest and most aggressive ejector airtime, with the crazy outer bank and relentless final hills. And its colors are some of the best in the world, and I find it to just be purely beautiful. And although most people have never heard of it, I only discovered it about a year ago, it has what might be the world's best selection of elements. I dare you to find a bad element on this ride. No, you know what? I triple dog dare you. So all in all, this majestic ride is one of the best coasters on the planet, and is definitely the best green one.
Now we have red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. Oh yeah, blue. And for this color, we have Fury 325. This is a 325 foot tall B&M Giga, hence its name. Wow, real creative Cedar Fair. We haven't seen that before. It has many low to the ground speed hills and sharp but intense maneuvers throughout the layout, with a mix of large elements like the beautiful travel clap and other amazing airtime hills. This coaster also brings you through both North Carolina and South Carolina, so that's pretty cool. And it goes both under and over the entrance, making it the best B&M front gate coaster. Sorry, gatekeeper. It has also won many Golden Ticket Awards for the best steel coaster and the best new ride, which shows you how good of the ride this is and making it the best coaster with the color blue.
And now, since I refuse to say violet, we have the color purple. which is given to the coaster that is probably gaining the most fame in the shortest amount of time, Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens Tampa, in Florida, which again needs no introduction. I mean, it's everything RMC does best, with added intensity, and some of the coolest trains and name in the coaster world. I don't care if the trains don't match the name at all, Airtime Thrills. It doesn't deserve to be at the top of your worst coaster names video. I can get behind a stupid name if it sounds dope, like Steel Vengeance, Iron Gwazi, Wicked Cyclone. So basically just all the RMC names. But anyway, Iron Gwazi has some of the greatest forces a coaster could have, and it will easily go down in coaster history books as one of the greats. And since there are barely any purple coasters, besides, Phantom's Revenge, it definitely deserves the spot of best purple coaster.
For the color pink, we have DC Rivals. And man, this coaster is insane, with its first shot being 202 feet tall and a 71 mile per hour top speed. This coaster even has the audacity to have a backwards facing seat. This ride has many huge drops and low to the ground twists and airtime hills, which makes it so spectacular. And not to mention the color of this roller coaster, it's pink, which you don't necessarily see on large coasters, and is a great change of pace from reds, blues, blacks, and browns. The randomness of this color on the coasters and the stats and elements this coaster has, it definitely makes it hold the spot for the best coaster with the color pink.
Next up, we have the most beautiful color of all time, brown. And you may think that we've picked a wood coaster like Voyage or El Toro, but no, we're too basic for that and refuse to write about any wooden coasters. So we picked the coaster that has built up so much hype that unless I get off it crying tears of joy, I'm gonna be disappointed. Ride to Happiness, the most kiddie coaster sounding name for one of the most intense and aggressive coasters on the planet. So if you haven't already heard of this coaster, first off, stop living under a rock, and secondly, this is a mock extreme spinner, showing exactly what it can do. It has incredible, forceful inversions, a great launch, and even airtime, all while spinning. So if that hasn't convinced you why this is so good, then book a trip to Belgium and ride it for yourself. Or just look at Sarah from Coaster Studios riding this. I mean, come on. Look at that.
If you're an enthusiast, you may know what's coming next, which will be the color gray, which is Velocicoaster. This ride is almost immaculate, with amazing theming in and off the ride, to of course Velociraptors. It also has some great elements like 2 punchy launches, a top hat, a stall, and the famous Mosasaurus roll that is said to be the best inversion on any coaster. The first half of this ride is filled with compact turns in a Velociraptor pen, and then the second half of the ride starts with a second launch at 70 miles per hour into the top hat and into 4 drawn out but whippy inversions to finish off the ride. And with all that said, and all the footage you just saw, you can already tell how great of a ride this is for the color gray spot.
Next up, we have the only color LEGO Batman uses to build.
I only work in black.
We have bestowed this honor upon Edgenica. And yes, I know, it looks like a shade of dark brown, but for the sake of the video, we're just gonna call it black. Alright? And for most of you, it's probably no surprise why this coaster is in this spot. But if you have no idea what this coaster is, then I would first of all recommend you to look up Japanese parks, and second of all, watch Coaster Studios' newest Top 20 Coasters video, because you will find Edgenica at the top of his list. And this is no easy task, so you already know that this has to be a world-class coaster. To put it lightly, it does the same thing that Ride to Happiness does. It takes a coaster model with a lot of potential, but only has one coaster that's pretty mid, and takes that coaster model and makes it the best it can be. I mean, this coaster is so intense it knocks your socks off. Or shoes. It knocks your shoes off. By which I mean you literally have to take your shoes off before riding. And if that doesn't show you how intense and out of control this coaster is, then nothing will. But other than that, this coaster is beyond perfect, and more than deserves the title of Best Black Coaster.
For our last color, we have white, and we have given the award to Best Yet Another Intamin Wing Coaster, further proving how good this model really is. And this coaster is flying aces. And let me just tell you, because after watching a POV of this thing, I never knew how long it was, but it is again a coaster that uses every single bit of that momentum to thrill its riders to full capacity. Just look at that POV. and watch how slowly it crawls into the brake. Run to see for yourself. And just because it is long does not mean there's any unnecessary straight track, unlike some coasters. Anyways, this coaster also does a great job of not only having great airtime moments and snappy transitions, but also graceful inversions that seem to be purely fun. So overall, this coaster is not only the best white coaster, but one of the best on the planet.
Now that we're done talking, we want to thank you for making it to the end of the video. And we would also thank you if you hit that like and subscribe button, because we spend a lot of time on these videos, and every like and every individual subscriber matters to us. And also, stay tuned for our next video. It's gonna be a good one. With all that said, thanks again for watching, and we will see you later. Peace!